Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, so they had, I guess, the Ring magazine, fighter awards. I think that was pretty dope. I think that's something they should look into more and more. But I would like for them to have something like that in the States. And I like the direction Turkey Al-Sheikh is going. A lot of people are against Turkey Al-Sheikh for reasons unknown. But I like a quote that he said, and I think the direction he wants to go with boxing, I think may be the best way to preserve and save boxing as a whole. Because at the end of the day, he said something that I think is spot on. And I have to say this, and this is just real talk. There are just some things you just have to say, and you can't worry about what the perception and what the feedback is going to be on particular subjects and particular people. He basically said that he wants to make the best fights available, and he says that boxing, and particularly fighters, are going to have to stop worrying about losing. And also us as fans got to stop condemning a fighter when they lose. I think maybe we have played into that a little too much when a fighter loses and gets knocked out or something he's done. Thomas Hearns got knocked out a few times, and he went on to become a Hall of Fame fighter. You know, he was knocked out at least 3 or 4 times, maybe even more than that. I would have to check his Wikipedia. I would have to check his box rec. I know he was stopped by Iran Barkley. He was stopped by Sugar Ray Leonard. He was stopped by Hagler. And I just think sometimes maybe we do put too much emphasis. And I think to a certain degree, we fell into the Floyd Mayweather trap based off the fact that we think that every fighter should never lose. And I'm not going to dive deep into this thing about whether Floyd Mayweather ruined boxing with his antics and this, nobody ever beat me and all that kind of stuff. That's a video for another day. But I do think maybe to a certain degree, we fell into the boxing thirst trap. Because that's all dudes like Floyd talk about. That's all he talks about is how he never lost a fight. And Floyd acts as if he's the first fighter to ever go undefeated. But keep in mind, Andre Ward retired undefeated. Ricardo Lopez retired undefeated. Joe Calzaghe, he retired undefeated. But I think Floyd was the one that put the most emphasis on it. That's basically, his security blanket. And I think a lot of fighters started to want to take that model and wanted to take that moniker. And that's why some of these fighters was very particular about certain fights that they signed up for, where it got to the point where people was like, well, I want to get paid X amount of money, but then I don't want to take the most risky fight. And like I said, you see that a lot. You see that a lot. And I think that's what's ruining boxing, because as fans, we can't get the fights we want to see. We sitting up here, we're begging, we're clamoring. To a certain degree, we're insulting fighters, we're disrespecting fighters. But at the end of the day, it's just because we want the best fights available to be made. But we can't seem to get it. So I think Turkey Al-Sheikh is on to something when he says that. He says we need to start being like MMA. Because, when MMA fighters lose a fight, it's not the end of the world. They move on. They get ready for the next fight. They come back, and they keep fighting. And the thing is, they get paid far less than what some boxers get paid. It really depends. So I do think that he's on to something. But the problem is with the media, because a lot of these media people, and the problem is the media and the promoters, and the managers and the trainers they take stuff far too personal when people as media, we're doing our job. And they want us to sit up there and always kiss their ass and suck up to them and say you're the greatest thing since the wheel, you know, and I think that's a problem. And I've just came to the conclusion I just got to keep it 100. These fighters, these promoters, you know, the trainers, they all be on some bullshit. They scared to sign these contracts. And at the end of the day, I know they going to say, hey, we've never fought in a day in our life. That's not true. I fought plenty of times and I didn't get paid for it. So that's not true. But you guys are getting paid for it. At least at the end of the day, you'll get paid a substantial amount of money to the point, at least if your teeth get fucked up, or you know, at the same time, you get, you know, broken ribs and all that, and jaws and all that stuff. For the most part, you can go to the doctor and get that stuff fixed. Where us, if we fight, you know, we get teeth knocked out, it's gonna cost us a pretty penny. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's gonna cost us a pretty penny if we don't got good medical. So, you know, at the end of the day, the point that I'm trying to make, I do think he's on to something. And I think maybe as media people, we need to stall these fighters out. At the end of the day, we will make fun of them. We will tease them a little bit. We will make memes. But at the same time, they don't think about the paying customer. You know, nobody cares about being the best. And I think Floyd, to a certain degree, has spoiled these fighters, or he's made these fighters timid. So I understand what Turkey Al-Sheikh is saying. We may need to get off of that mode. And that's just real talk. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.